that doesn't get you fired up on a Sunday morning, or any time really, I don't know what's wrong with you. You need to check your pulse. No, hello everybody. Welcome to the Eighth Inning Stretch. I'm AJ. He's Carson. We're live as we are every Sunday morning or thereabouts. Here on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Twitch. If you're on Twitter, all you have to do is go to our page at Eighth Inning Pod. If you want to watch us on YouTube or on Twitch, check us out at Linktree/Eighth Inning Stretch. And don't forget, you can also tune in Mondays or whenever, wherever you get your podcasts at Linktree/Eighth Inning Stretch. Don't forget to give us a follow on Eighth Inning Pod. At Eighth Inning Pod, at Eighth Inning. Wow, I can't talk this morning. I can't talk this morning. Follow us at eight. You know what? I'm just gonna read right off my little thing here. Follow us at Eighth Inning Pod on Twitter, and for more, including our newsletter blog, Two Strike Count, which you can get delivered right to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by subscribing. Head to eighthinningpod.com, and don't forget to help us support the show using the QR code on your screen. If you're watching this, or if you're listening to this later, heading to eighthinningpod.com/donate. Yeah. And if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Whew. All right. So welcome everybody to our, believe it or not, our third mailbag special. We're calling it Mailbag Madness. And Carson, you and I were just talking before we came on. Our fans, listeners, to no surprise whatsoever, crushed it with their mailbag questions, like they always do.
Yeah, not a surprise at all. You guys, especially for the mailbag episode, exclusive episodes, you guys always seem to bring it. But again, that's nothing new. I want to keep my little intro short and sweet here because I want to get right into this. This is one of my favorite episodes that we do, and I'm so pumped.
Yeah, I think it's always fun to do the show. But there's just, something hits a little different about this episode.
Yeah, totally agree. It's almost like the episode where we connect with you guys the most. So I am so pumped.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Actually, I was just telling Carson also, ladies and gentlemen, that so I mean you'll see here we've got quite a few of your messages. But as producer Tasha and I were going through these, there were even more. Because you guys, we're getting more emails from you guys than ever before, which is awesome. Again, no surprise. You guys have always showed up and showed out for us. But if we don't get to your message in this episode, in this mailbag special, Mailbag Madness, have no fear. We will get to it. Carson, I think we've only ever done one of these this season, but I think this season's going to be the first season we're going to have to do another one of these.
I think we will. It's just too loaded. You guys are
you guys are too good.
The inbox.
You guys are too good. Knock it off. You bunch of overachievers. No, seriously, we love hearing from you guys. And the other thing to keep in mind as we do this, just because we don't read your message, so we're mostly reading messages that are, what's the word I'm looking for? We're reading the ones that are questions, but we see all your messages. We see all your feedback about the show. So many of you guys, seems like in the thousands, write in and tell us, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the great work. All that good stuff. We love hearing that stuff. So we do see that stuff too. We just, so I don't, we don't want you to think that stuff gets ignored because it definitely doesn't. So, anyways, let's get into this because holy crap, we have a lot from you guys. But first and foremost, it wouldn't be the show without leading off with the poll results. And Carson, I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and look, or have producer Joshua go back and look, but I'm pretty sure this was our closest poll yet. We asked you guys straight up, would you vote Andrew McCutchen into the Hall of Fame? And the results are as thus. 36% of you said no. 33% of you said maybe. And 31% of you said yes. Carson, you you almost spoiled your vote on Twitter, but you didn't. So let's have it. I think I know where you're going, but
Yeah. I had put out on the social media artist formerly known as Twitter that I knew where I was going with this, and Kutch, I love you as a player, I really do, but right now for me, you don't make the cut, plain and simple. I
yep.
am I am with the 36%. I just the accolades for me just aren't there. I mean, yes, he's a former MVP, 5-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, and a 1-time Gold Glove, but
Yep.
for me, in order to get into the Hall, there's got to be a ring there. Now, granted, again, this is
Mm.
not necessarily his fault.
Mm.
For much of his career, he has been part of the sinking ship known as the Pittsburgh Pirates. But I mean, I don't know. For me, there's got to be a ring there. There isn't nearly enough accolades for me to be able to consider him for the Hall.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, the thing about the ring, I would make the counter argument, and this is for all of you. Yeah, when I say we see all your messages, we still, this is for all of you. Still, I can't believe we're still getting these. This is for all of you. Oh, you guys agree on everything. It's boring. Shut up. No, we don't. Um, what was I gonna? I would make the counter argument that there are plenty of players in Cooperstown who never won a championship. One Mr. Ted Williams comes to mind.
Fair point.
Not no, whoa, relax, everybody. I'm not comparing Andrew McCutchen to Ted Williams by any stretch of the imagination. I just, God, that man, that whole championship, that whole ring argument is tricky. It's a slippery slope. I feel like not so much in baseball. I think we hear it more in football when talking about all-time great quarterbacks. So, well, how many championships did they win? How many Super Bowls did they win? It's not such a big deal in baseball, but however, that said, I I this is tough. Like Kutch is just such an awesome player. He's always been one of my favorite players to watch. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence between the no and the maybe. I certainly don't think winning a championship would. Do you, do we think winning? Do we think if somehow Kutch wins a ring that puts him over the top? Is that where we're at?
I mean, if he won a ring, I think I'd be more inclined to still be on the maybe. I still
Mm,
don't know if I
mhm.
still don't know if for me that would make him a certified Hall of
Right,
Famer. Because I
right.
mean, looking at his career stats, he's got over 2,000 hits. He just recently crossed the 300 home run threshold,
Yep.
over 1,000. I don't know if they're quite. I'd be more inclined to say maybe if there was a World Series ring, I think, in there.
Yeah. So somebody bearing a striking resemblance to myself actually wrote about this on Two Strike Count. Um, and I won't bore you all with reading the whole thing, but I'll read part of it. Um, Basically, I said that I think Kutch is as close to getting into Cooperstown as you can without actually getting in. Carson, I think Andrew McCutcheon is bound for the Hall of very, 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 very good, but not quite the Hall of Fame. Which, that's nothing to. But basically, in short, I wrote this right after he hit his 300th home run. And I talked about which this isn't. I feel like this isn't something we talk about a lot with baseball players in the Hall of Fame. I talked about his defense. Andrew McCutcheon is a damn good outfielder. 988 career fielding percentage, over 3,600 putouts, only 44 errors in his entire career. But I also went on to say that his defense isn't the problem. It's his offense that comes up a little short, which is a weird thing to say considering he just hit 300 home runs. Yes, he did recently hit his 300th homer. Yes, he's got more than 200 stolen bases in his career, also impressive. And yes, he's got over 1,000 RBIs. For me, the reason I put Kutch in the Hall of Very, 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 Very Good and not the Hall of Fame, he struggled with consistency over his career.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
I just feel like his offensive production, because I went and looked at his baseball reference. I feel like his offensive production has been a little all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, you go from his MVP type seasons from 2012 to 2014. And
Yep.
I mean, granted, in 2015 he was still an all-star, was still a silver slugger. 292 is a great batting average, but his slugging percentage dropped, his OPS dropped off from 952 to 889 and then 766 the next year. And I mean, there's no doubt that he will go down, at least in my mind, and I think AJ, I'm safe to assume you agree with me here, is one of the best Pirates of all time.
Absolutely.
I think there's no doubt about that.
No, I put him in the same. He's right up there with Roberto Clemente, as far as in terms of best to ever wear the Pirates jersey. I have no doubt that the Pirates will retire his number. Someday whenever he's done playing, and he'll certainly never have to buy a drink in Pittsburgh ever again. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we do have all your mailbag messages to get to, plus a bunch of other stuff. I'll just make one last point, a little food for thought, a little something for y'all to chew on. When I was doing this when I was writing this, I found a very interesting case, a very similar player in terms of sort of resumes, and that is Maglia Ordonez. So Ordonez and McCutcheon, you can check my math, everybody. You can go look at Baseball Reference yourself. They have very similar stat lines, except in batting average. Maglia Ordonez, at the end of his career, finished 32 points higher than where Andrew McCutcheon is in his current career average. Kutch won a Gold Glove. Ordonez won a batting title. And Maglia Ordonez, Carson, only got 2% of the vote for the Hall of Fame and then fell off the ballot.
Yeah, his time on the ballot was very short-lived.
So the point I'm making is if you're not going to put Maglia Ordonez in with a 32 point higher batting average than McCutcheon, I don't think you can put Kutch in, unfortunately.
Yeah, in all honesty, I agree with you. As hard.
No, you're not supposed to agree with me. We agree on everything. Did you? Oh, just kidding.
As much as I do apologize, Pirates fans, I do appreciate me some Andrew McCutcheon, especially prime Andrew McCutcheon. Whew.
Sure.
If you guys never saw Andrew McCutcheon in in his prime. First of all, I feel old in that case, and second of all, go look on YouTube at some prime Andrew McCutchen highlights, because that dude was at one point one of the best in
Sure.
Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he absolutely was. It was kind of a shame that he hasn't spent his, he hasn't spent his whole career in Pittsburgh. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time,
He had those. I think he went and played with the Brewers at one point. He bounced around a little bit, and he played with it. Am I imagining this, or did he play for the Yankees at one point?
he did play for the Yankees. I think he
Okay.
got traded there after, because I can't remember if the Pirates just didn't re-sign him, and then he signed with San Francisco in 2018.
Oh, he did play for the Giants too, didn't he? Yeah. He
Yeah,
bounced around a little bit.
he played for them for much of that 2018 season, and then I think maybe got traded to the Yankees. Played a
Yeah, I
few
think you're
years in
right.
Philadelphia. Was in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
In 2022.
Yeah, see, I forgot he played for the Phillies too. Yeah, he bounced around a little bit. So, anyways, that's where we're at with the poll results. Again, I'd have to go back and look. But I'm pretty sure that's the closest poll we've ever had. So, thanks as always, for everybody for you guys for voting in it. I know you guys love the poll questions, and we do our best to get those up, every week. So, yeah. All you got to do to vote in the poll question is head over to 8th Inning Pod/poll, and that's where you'll find that. So, so switching gears a little bit. Yes, we're getting to your messages, I promise. But Carson, wow, it's been a rough little stretch for the baseball world. We've lost some people. Carl Erskine, who of course was a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers, Larry Brown, Ken Holtzman, David McCarty, who, if you're not familiar with that, non-Red Sox fans might not know that name. David McCarty, talk about bouncing around a little bit, but he did spend a few seasons with the Red Sox and was a member of the 2004 Red Sox, the World Series team. And not to downplay any of these other guys, but Carson, we also lost legend Hall of Famer Whiting Herzog.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dave McCarty actually got his that name hits a little bit closer to home. While even though I didn't get the pleasure of watching him play in said Twins uniform, he did start his career as a member of the Minnesota Twins for a few seasons. Third overall pick by the Twins in the 91 draft.
Wow, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, did a little real time research and found his baseball reference. So
good stuff.
I vaguely remember him with the Red Sox, but keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that in 2003,
don't say it.
Someone bearing a striking
God.
resemblance to myself was 4 years old.
Oh God, shut up! Stop! Stop it.
But yeah, like you said, a very rough, just a rough week in the world of baseball. Lost a lot of legends this week. Obviously,
I don't know.
Condolences to all the families, and this is the beautiful thing about baseball, is that we're able to come together and recognize these guys for the roles that they played in their teams and in their fan bases, and it's always hard when we have to talk about these. Usually it's not this many at one time.
I know, seriously, I don't like all of these within like the span of a week. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, and oh man, like Carson said, obviously our condolences and our thoughts and everything to everyone's families. I mean, like I said, not to downplay the other ones, but probably the most recognizable name on this out of these is Whitey Herzog, of course, the Cardinals legend, who built the Cardinals into, a powerhouse in the 80s. You guys can read all about. I did my little ode to Whitey in one of the recent editions of Two Strike Count. So you can read all about it there. But cousin Whitey Herzog's biggest contribution probably to baseball was Whitey Ball. Built the Cardinals into, like I said, built the Cardinals into a powerhouse in the 80s and built a team at a time when offense was king. Built a team focused on speed, pitching, and defense, which is still that's how teams, successful ones anyways, are built all the way here in 2024.
Yeah, screw Moneyball. I want to see teams play Whitey Ball.
Whitey Ball, right?
But yeah, like you said, obviously, longtime manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, managed the team for 10 years.
Yep.
Won a World Series.
Yep.
World Series in 1982, multiple time, as well NL pennant winners in 85 and 87. Total, a total career of, over 1,200 wins as a manager. One of probably the brightest minds to play the game and to manage the game, and also a former Washington Senator, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I mean, won NL Manager of the Year in 1985, lost to your Twins in the 87 World Series.
Sorry, Whitey. Sorry, not sorry on that one, pal.
Not that you were even a thought in 1987.
God, no.
I mean, I'm going to talk. I was only 2, so. Anyways, yeah. Again, obviously, our thoughts and condolences and everything to friends and family of the legends we lost in the last little week here or so. But on a much from, well, I don't know about a brighter note, but from legends we've lost to legends that are still with us, Carson, a couple of legendary broadcasters one of them has already put down his mic. That, of course, is legendary Yankees broadcaster John Sterling.
Yeah, no matter how you feel about the Yankees, because obviously we have the Red Sox loving co-host over here. But John Sterling is one of the best to ever go behind the mic for a game of baseball.
Yep.
And I, in not to totally sidetrack here, but I feel very fortunate that
us sidetrack? Yeah. What?
Us sidetrack? What are you talking about?
We don't sidetrack.
Never. But I feel very fortunate that I feel like baseball has had a lot of legends come through the broadcast booth.
Sure.
John Sterling, Vin Scully, Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Uecker's still going strong at 90.
Yes, like baseball has a ton of legendary broadcasters. And these are guys that have made up a lot of people's childhoods. And John Sterling, certainly no exception to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like you said, no matter how you feel about the Yankees, John Sterling, one of the best to ever do it. And good on him for, stepping aside, for stepping aside at what he felt like was the right time. Yeah, actually, I was just looking. I just did a quick Google best baseball broadcasters of all time, and wow. I mean, Vin Scully, we mentioned, Bob Uecker, Harry Carey, John Miller, Jack Buck, Harry Kalas. Yeah, this list is ridiculous. Tim McCarver, Kurt Gowdy. I mean, yeah, this list is just wow. I would make the argument that baseball has had. Well, I would make the argument, Carson, that baseball, out of all the sports, has had the best broadcasters out of all the four major sports over the years.
I think there's certainly an argument to I think that's certainly an argument to be made. I think there's, obviously each sport has their own legends, and we'll very shortly be talking about another legend of another sport. But
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, baseball has had an absolute. You could put a broadcasting Hall of Fame of just
Just
baseball
baseball. Yep.
broadcasters, and it would be fantastic without adding some of the legends of the other major sports that have come behind the mic.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a different Mount Rushmore, but as far as my baseball broadcasting Mount Rushmore, I would go in no particular order. Wow, this is hard. God damn. I would go Vince Scully, obviously. Duh. See, this is tough because a lot of these guys I never got to hear or watch.
Fully hear call a game, yeah.
Yeah, I never got to watch or really hear, guys like Kirk Gowdy or Harry Carey but I mean I obviously got to watch Vince Scully. I would go Vince Scully. I would go Vince Scully, Bob Uecker, John Miller. And honestly, I think I got to put John Sterling on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vin Scully and Bob Uecker for me, no brainers.
No brainers, yeah.
Yep. Oh man, this is tough because, like you said, there are, and I have even less of a frame of reference than you do. In terms of hearing guys behind the mic. So I may have to
yours
do
might be a little different.
Do a little twins. Yeah, I might have to do a little bit of twins fire. But obviously Vince Scully, Bob Uecker, no brainers.
Yep.
I think I'd probably have to put John Sterling on there too. Who do I put as my third spot? I think I'm gonna go with. Oh man, this is hard. I don't think he's as. I think I'm gonna say Tim McCarver.
Nice. Yeah. But that's kind of the point here is like even with a Mount Rushmore, like you'd have to have, a bigger mountain because there's so many, even with the ones we mentioned, there's so many that got, that you end up leaving off. Jack Buck. Carson, I don't know if you ever got to hear or watch Jack Buck. Probably not.
I did not.
Yeah, legendary longtime Cardinals broadcaster. And famous for his his speech at the first game in 2001 after 9/11 about, whether or not we should be playing baseball, great speech, by the way, if you guys want to YouTube that. But yeah, you're leaving off Tim McCarver, you're leaving off Jack Buck, Dick Enberg did, who did baseball and obviously other sports. Joe Morgan, that's another one. This list is ridiculous. And then we have all the current guys. You've got your Don Orsillos, you've got your John Shambi, you've got your Matt Vasgersian, so yeah, just ridiculous. An embarrassment of riches when it comes to baseball announcers. So anyways, Carson teased it a little bit. So I mentioned there were two legendary broadcasters stepping away from, like, John Sterling already has. And another one is not a baseball announcer. So this is for all of you who write in and complain about when we talk about non-baseball stuff, which again, shut up. Longtime legendary Bruins play-by-play, TV play-by-play announcer, and my spirit animal, Jack Edwards, announced that he is stepping away from the mic at the end of this current playoff season for the Bruins.
Yeah, well, we know at least it's going to last through the first round because the Bruins are playing the Maple Leafs again.
Woof.
So, sorry, Maple Leafs fans, but
Smoked him last night.
sorry, Maple Leafs fans, but come on now.
Sorry, not sorry.
You really thought you had a chance here, but anyway. Yeah, Jack Edwards is one of those guys. I will obviously defer more to you on Jack Edwards, seeing as you are a fan of the Golden Bees,
Yes.
and have probably heard a lot more of Jack Edwards calls than me,
tons.
who hears the ones that come up on social media of people who don't really like Jack Edwards, or him basically calling Pat Maroon fat.
Yeah.
But he definitely seems like a very polarizing broadcaster. Either if you're from Boston, you love him. If you're anywhere else,
you hate him. Yep. Yes, he is a very polarizing figure. But you know what? Screw all of you. We love him in Boston. We don't care what you think. Much like many other things when it comes to Boston, guess what? We just don't care what you think. We're Bostonians. So, I mean, if we cared what other people think, our ancestors wouldn't have dumped that tea in the harbor. So, no, seriously though, Jack Edwards he's been calling Bruins games for year. I mean, I think I saw it was like 2004, 2005. It's been a long time, long time. He had big shoes to fill. He took over from some legends. Yeah, Jack Edwards is awesome. Like I said, my spirit animal, one of my spirit animals. Just one of the things I've always loved about Jack Edwards is he is and Carson, I suspect this is why so many people outside of Boston don't like him. Jack Edwards has never hidden his hometown bias towards the Bruins.
God, no. From the clips I've seen, that Brad Marchand could literally swing a hockey stick baseball style at a dude's head, and Jack Edwards would be like, well, he deserved it.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah, Brad Marchand has mellowed out considerably in his old age. Even as a Bruins fan, I couldn't defend like basically anything that Brad Marchand did. But yeah, Jack Edwards he's an unashamedly a Bruins fan. He's never hidden that. Him and Andy Brickley have been one of my favorite broadcast duos ever. And it's just and now Jack Edwards stepping away at the end of the season, which is sad, but also he basically said, Carson, that he's had some vocal cord issues, he's had some voice issues, and he just can't do it at the level that he expects himself to do it, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Respect to both of these guys for because John Sterling stepping away was also a lot due to health reasons, and stepping away behind the mic. Ask any broadcaster. Ask I myself as an aspiring broadcaster know that that's not an easy thing to do. Like that is a field you go into for the long haul. And kudos to these guys for listening to their bodies and knowing that it was, it's time to step away, and not letting, because obviously having a good work ethic and a drive in this field is a good thing. But at the end of the day, you got to listen to your body, and I respect the hell out of anybody for hanging it up in sports or in broadcasting for listening to their body. You will never hear me bash anybody for listening to their body when it comes to retiring.
And to take that a step further, I respect the hell out of anybody who recognizes that it's time to step away from doing anything they love.
Yeah.
And stepping away, realizing, okay, I can't do this at the level that I used to anymore. And rather than, let's be honest, there have been some Brett Favre.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? Screw Brett Favre. Seriously though, there have been, I mean, I think most of the examples we could come up with are athletes, but there have been no shortage of people, public figures, who should have stepped away. Tom Brady, and should have stepped away when they got to a certain point and didn't, and went too long and ended up embarrassing themselves. Michael Jordan. I mean, come on, really, dude? The Washington Wizards. Anyways, so John Sterling, Jack Edwards, obviously wishing both of them nothing but the happiest of retirements. A couple of broadcast legends who will definitely be missed by their respective fan bases. And honestly, watching Bruins games next year is just not going to be the same. So, and I suspect, no confirmation yet, but I suspect that Andy Brickley, Jack's longtime broadcast partner, will probably step away too, because that's like having peanut butter without jelly. So, anyways, yes, you're all going. Come on, guys! I thought this was Mailbag Madness. It's coming. We're almost there. I promise. One last thing, because you guys have been asking, and we've been teasing and we've been talking about it, but we finally have a release date for the premiere episode of our all new documentary series, The Book of Baseball, May 26th, ladies and gentlemen. A week. Actually, no, not a week from this Friday. Believe it or not. May 26th, premiere episode of Book of Baseball. The first episode, to the surprise of absolutely no one who listens
Hang
to the
on,
show.
May 26th or April 26th?
Oh, April 26th. Did we put May? We did. Wow. Yeah, no, April 26th.
Breaking news, everybody. You get it a month ahead of when you thought you would.
Sorry, everybody. We need to fix that. Because we put May 26th. No, it's April 26th. This Friday. Yeah. Yeah, I had to look at the calendar. Yeah, April 26th, not May 26th. Sorry, everybody. April 26th, the premiere episode of the Book of Baseball, to the surprise of absolutely no one. We'll be detailing the 2004 Red Sox and the greatest comeback in baseball history to dispatch the evil empire, the Yankees, on their way to ending the curse of the Bambino and ending 86 years of frustration for Red Sox fans. And in case you're wondering where to watch, listen, the Book of Baseball will be available exclusively at 8thinningpod.com/Book of Baseball. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We will change that because it is on Twitter as May 26th. And I'm pretty sure, real quick, let's check the website. I'm pretty sure it says May 26th on the website too. Yes, it does. Wow. Okay. Good on you, Carson, for catching that, because neither me or producer Tasha noticed that. It's supposed to be April 26th. So yeah, cool. You guys are getting it a month earlier than you thought you were. Yay. Yeah, we will fix that. So, anyways, just wanted to let you guys know about that, because you guys have been asking and we've been talking about it. But we finally got everything everything's sort of in place. And we'll be recording that episode this week. So yeah, stay tuned for that. All right. All that stuff done, all that stuff out of the way. Let's get down to the mailbag madness. And we start with Maya L. We're coming in hot with these, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming in hot right off the bat with these. Maya L says, do you think Major League Baseball will let Jerry Reinsdorf pull a John Fisher and move the White Sox?
Gut reaction is no.
Mm.
Simply because I feel like I don't necessarily want to say that there's like more interest in the White Sox, because there still is a lot of interest in the A's. It's just that the ownership has absolutely run that thing into the ground. But I think more so from a PR standpoint, MLB can't let this happen again. I don't think that I don't think that Manfred's quote unquote legacy would be able to take another hit of another team just basically saying, "All right, peace out, everybody. We're leaving now." For the second time in however many years. And again, this obviously, like, there's been talks of they're looking at relocation options because their lease at what's it called now? Guaranteed rate field.
Yeah.
Thank you. I believe that expires in 2028. So we've still got a long time for this to go, but I just think from a PR standpoint, this can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously what's happened in Oakland, and the fact that, okay, yeah, we're going to move the team to Vegas, but we don't even have a stadium yet. In fact, they haven't even secured funding for a stadium yet. So in the meantime, we're going to go play at a AAA park in Sacramento. No disrespect to the Sacramento River Cats or Sacramento, but yeah, I don't.
It's like playing hockey at a college arena. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait. No, that's crazy. No one would ever let that happen.
Too soon?
Yeah, too soon. No, I mean, yeah, no, to answer your question, no, I don't. I mean, while I wouldn't be surprised, no, I don't see this happening. As much of a hot mess as the Red Sox are, sorry, Freudian slip. The White Sox, yeah, the Red Sox are a hot mess too, but the White Sox are a disaster. They're off to an absolutely abysmal start. But the key issue here for me, Carson, is and obviously the A's have a strong connection to Oakland. They've been there since 1960, whatever. The White Sox have been based in Chicago since 1894. I'm sorry, since 1900. The team was established in 1894 in Sioux City, apparently. But they've been based in Chicago since 1900. That's even more history than the A's have with Oakland. Because don't forget, the A's didn't start in Oakland. The A's started in Philadelphia, then Kansas City, then Oakland. So the A's have moved. The White Sox have been in Chicago for over 100 years now. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously at the end of the day, money makes the world go round, and
Sure,
we all know that MLB would love to see some relocation fees paid by a city, paid by ownership, blah blah blah. But I don't think that this can happen from a PR standpoint. If you're trying to keep the game, in good standing, I don't think this can happen.
No, and not to mention, the South Side of Chicago would erupt in riots if this happened.
Yeah, no kidding.
White Sox fans would be pissed.
They're not trying to cheer for the Cubbies.
No. White Sox fan, if the White Sox somehow moved, all those White Sox fans are not going to go be Cubs fans. No. But And the other thing about this is the difference in the owner. I mean, John Fisher he's John Fisher. And he's been, I feel like since he bought the A's, he's been hell-bent on moving them out of Oakland. I don't think Jerry Reinsdorf works the same way. I think Jerry Reinsdorf would sooner sell the White Sox than move them. So
I would like to think so, at least.
I mean, we can all, especially White Sox fans, we can all hope that Jerry Reinsdorf would sell the Red Sox. Why do I keep saying Red Sox? White Sox. My God. Freudian slip, everybody. I'm mixing up Jerry Reinsdorf and John Henry. No, seriously. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I mean, moving the A's is one thing. No offense, A's fans, but the White Sox have a lot more history with Chicago. So Lisa M, which team or teams off to slow starts do you think are most likely to bounce back?
Well, speaking of the White Sox, it ain't them, that's for sure.
No.
I mean, this is always something that, you know, you can say now, and then it may end up having to bite you in the butt.
Yep.
But just kind of taking a look at the overall standings and things, I have to believe that my Twins will bounce back. There is too much talent on this team for them not to.
Yep.
Same thing with the Houston Astros. They have to bounce back. I mean, there's way too much talent on that team. St. Louis Cardinals at the bottom, yeah, not surprised there. Rockies, no.
Nope.
So I mean, I guess for me, like I think the not even likely to bounce back, but have to bounce back candidates are the Astros and the Twins.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Twins. Yeah, the Twins are way too good to be where they're at. The Twins will be fine. The Astros, I honestly don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of talent on the team. The Astros are old, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, okay, cool. Verlander's back, but Verlander is not vintage Verlander anymore. Justin Verlander isn't just a Verlander of old anymore. And obviously having Justin Verlander back is huge for the Astros, but I don't know, 7-15. That's yeah. I mean, yeah, it's early, but I honestly don't know. And no, that's not just my anti-Astros bias talking. The Miami Marlins, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the Marlins have to be one of those have to bounce back teams. Talk about talent.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know if
Oof.
I mean, at this point, they're in much better shape than when we had last left them, but
Yeah, that's true.
I don't see it happening. I mean, that run differential is atrocious.
That's awful.
Like
Minus 41.
ladies and gentlemen, let me name for you the teams that are the only teams that are behind the Miami Marlins in terms of run differential. Okay. The Colorado Rockies at minus 48
Oof.
and the Chicago White Sox at minus 65.
Mm.
That's it. Everybody else is in front of the Miami Marlins. They have got to get that offense going, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, which is really baffling with all the talent in that lineup. Oof, White Sox minus 65. Yikes. Imagine being outscored by 65 runs and we're not even we're not even quite a full month into the season. Yikes. The Cardinals is another team that I look at and they go, there's so much talent on that team. Yeah, I know they've obviously lost some players. You know, no more Jordan Montgomery, Adam Wainwright retired. Um, they've lost some players, Albert Pujols, of course. But man, I look at that Cardinals team. You've still got Paul Goldschmidt. You've still got Nolan Arenado. Like, come on. Like, I don't even know. Cardinals, that's another team that I feel like they should bounce back, but I don't know if they will. And then last but not least, out there in the NL West, yeah, the Rockies. I mean, 4-16, no surprise there. The Giants and the Giants, the D-backs, and the Padres have all actually that basically that whole division. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, and the D-backs are all off to slow starts. Wow, the Dodgers have lost 3 in a row, 3-7 in their last 10. Uh-oh, Dodgers fans. No, but seriously though, I think all of those teams are way too good to be where they're at. I expect all 4 of those teams to bounce back.
Yeah,
Carson.
I'd agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect all 4 of them to bounce back. I think we're having a little technical hiccup here, ladies and gentlemen. Carson?
Hello.
Okay, cool. Thought we lost you there for a second. All right, moving on to the next. Gavin G wants to know, what do you guys think of the Mets City Connect jerseys?
Yeah. They're certainly something.
Certainly a choice.
Certainly a choice. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're kind of cool looking. I don't know about that color scheme, but I kind of like I kind of like the font. The font looks cool.
The hats are cool.
How I feel. Yeah, the hats are cool. I don't know how I feel about the gray, but they're not the worst City Connect jerseys I've seen.
No, that distinction belongs to the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, those Phillies jerseys are just awful. Yeah, I mean, I like the color scheme. I like the gray. The font is cool. The hats are cool. Why the pinstripes? Are we trying to be the Yankees?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I saw the pinstripes and like the kind of the interesting font, and I was like, this reminds me of a Yankees hat that I used to have as a kid. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, they look too much like the Yankees. Like, I mean, I get that the Mets are the little brother and the Yankees are the big brother in New York as far as baseball goes, but yeah. I mean, other than the pinstripes, I kind of like it. I like the gray. The gray is a different. It's not a color we see a lot. The hats are really cool. I love the hat. The hat's got the bridge on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't love them. I don't hate them. I'm kind of meh. I would really like them if they would get rid of the pinstripes. I really don't like the pinstripes. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle on them. And Carson, like you said, they're definitely not the worst City Connect jerseys we've seen.
God, no.
I think we could we could definitely sit here and rank the City Connect jerseys. The Phillies, the Phillies are awful. I don't know. I think if I had to pick a favorite City Connect jersey, I know you're all thinking I'm gonna say the Red Sox, and I do love the Red Sox. I love the yellow and the blue, the Boston Marathon colors. Those are awesome. But I will put those in their own category, because of the connection to the marathon and 2013 and everything like that. But other than Red Sox, if I had to pick a favorite City Connect jersey, Carson, I love me some Arizona Diamondbacks City Connects, the Serpientes jerseys. Woof.
Those are nice. I mean, yeah, as
Those are
As I wait for my Twins to officially unveil their City Connect jerseys, which, by the way, hello, what's taking so long? I want to see them already because I'm probably gonna buy one unless they suck. So please
right.
reveal those. But yeah, the Los Serpientes are nice. I've always liked the Miami Marlins jerseys. I've always thought those were pretty flashy.
Those are the Marlins are. That's the red one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice. A little. I mean, well, I was gonna say a little loud, but we are talking about Miami, so I think they fit. Yeah. Man, I love these city. The City Connect jerseys are so cool. I love what baseball's trying to do with these. Um, mix it up a little bit so teams aren't wearing the same the same jerseys over and over and over again. All right, moving on. Evan R. Should Giants fans be hitting the panic button about Blake Snell?
You better believe they should. My God, he has looked horrible. Now, granted, again, he signed a contract very late. I'm sure that this is just him trying to warm up and blah blah blah. But if I'm a Giants fan right now, I'm at least a little bit worried. You thought this was going to be the piece that was going to get you over the hump. And granted, you're not that far away. You're only 3 games back, or excuse me, a game and a half back of the Dodgers for the division lead. But again, and it's early in the season, but again, like he's got to get up to speed and get up to speed now, or else the Giants are going to get left in the dust.
Yeah. Concerned? Yes. If I'm a Giants fan, I'm concerned. I don't think I'm quite hitting the panic button yet. Yeah, I know he's 0-3. 11.57 ERA. He absolutely got he got knocked around really bad by the D-backs the other night. I don't think I'm quite hitting the panic button yet. And because of the reason you mentioned, Carson, he didn't sign until he basically, like Jordan Montgomery, he basically missed spring training. And we talked about it all winter, how, spring training is obviously important for players, but it's especially important for pitchers. And Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery basically missed spring training. I know it doesn't look good right now. I think Blake Snell will be fine.
Yeah, for his sake and for the sake of Giants fans everywhere, I sure hope so.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll shake off the rust, and he'll be the Blake Snell that we all know. So, yeah, no, I'm not quite hitting the panic button yet. Now, if we're having this conversation, a month from now, then yeah, yeah, I would hit the panic button. But right now, I think he'll be fine. You got to remember that he pretty much missed all of spring training. So, all right, moving on. Nick F. We got Carson's Twins Mount Rushmore. So how about AJ's Red Sox version? Oh, you guys are just gonna put me on the spot, aren't you? God damn. See, the problem I have with doing these Mount Rushmore things is kind of like we were talking about, Carson, with the broadcasters. Like, there are just some guys. Unfortunately, I never got to see Ted Williams play. I never got to see Ted Williams or Carl Yastrzemski or Carlton Fisk or Jim Rice or any of those guys, Johnny Pesky. Like, I never got to see any of these guys play. So this is tough. So what I'm going to do, obviously Ted Williams, Yaz, Carlton Fisk, Johnny Pesky, Jim Rice, Dwight Evans, Wade Boggs, even we'll throw good old Wade Boggs in there. Obviously, those guys are legends. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little more current, not current Red Sox, but I'm going to go a little more current with my Red Sox Mount Rushmore, because I can't fairly judge, any of these legendary players because I never got to see them play, unfortunately. So my Red Sox Mount Rushmore, again, in no particular order. David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez, Ortiz, Pedro. I think I've got to go. Oh, man, this is tough. Damn. I think I've got to go. I think I'm gonna go Dustin Pedroia. And oh man. So what? I'm at 3, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez, Dustin Pedroia. And I think I've got to go. Oh man, this sucks. And I think I've got to go Jason Varitek.
Yeah, I have no issues with any of that list. Those are some absolute studs.
But I'm leaving. Oh man, I'm leaving so many good players off. I mean,
that was the hard thing about when I did my Twins Mount Rushmore, and that's why I was like, my Mount Rushmore for guys who I've seen play versus I haven't seen play are two very different ones. And I had just decided to go with, all right, without even factoring in guys I haven't seen play. Here's my Twins Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaving off, Nomar Garcia-Parra, John Lester. I mean, yeah, it's tough. Manny Ramirez, yeah.
I mean, Nomar Garcia-Parra for me is on the Backyard Baseball Mount Rushmore.
Sure, absolutely.
That was my guy on Backyard Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, other than good old Pablo, yeah. Yeah, these Mount Rushmores, these are tough guys. But yeah, Ortiz, Pedro, Pedroia, and Varitek, I think, and again, obviously, Ted Williams and Jim Rice and Johnny Pesky and Carl Yastrzemski and Carlton Fisk and all those guys are But I know, yeah, it's tough because I never got to see any of them play, unfortunately. So, anyways, yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with Red Sox Mount Rushmore. I think there are some current Red Sox who could be in that conversation at some point down the road, but that's where I'm at right now. Danielle P. We already kind of talked about this, but we'll dive a little deeper into this. Is Justin Verlander's return enough for the Astros to turn things around?
I mean, it certainly couldn't hurt. Because I mean, for the Astros right now, their main problem has been their pitching.
Yep.
Because the
injuries,
a lot of injuries, and a lot of just overall inconsistencies. The offense is there. I mean, they're top 5 in MLB in OPS, top 3 in batting average. I mean, the top 5 again in on base percentage. Like the offense is there, but right now, this pitching staff desperately needs some help. Astros right now, the only team with a worse ERA than them in the major leagues right now is the Colorado Rockies at a 0.06. The Astros are sitting at 5.03, and I mean they're near the bottom in opposing batting average, near the bottom in WHIP. They're near the bottom in a lot of the big major pitching categories. So it certainly can't hurt getting Justin Verlander back, because he is a guy who is going to help that pitching staff, who is going to help bring those stats back to, quite frankly, where they need to be if you're the Astros. And he's also a guy who doesn't necessarily who likes to get out of innings quickly. He tries to pitch to guys to strike them out and get out of innings quickly, which as I'm doing a little bit of real-time research, is also something that would help the Astros because they are averaging right now about 17 and a half inning or pitches per inning, which is almost which only the Marlins and the Rockies are behind them in that category as well.
That's wow. That's brutal. Yeah, I mean, you were talking about the offense. Even with the offense that they've got, they're still minus 22 in run differential, which is obviously not good. Yeah, they're 3-7 in their last 10. They're dead last in the AL West. I mean, you're trailing the Angels in the A's in the AL West. Yeah. Sorry, Angels and A's fans, but that's yeah. I mean, like you said, having Justin Verlander back is, I mean, it can't hurt. It's obviously a good thing. You're obviously in a better position with Justin Verlander than without. But is Verlander's return alone enough for the Astros to turn things around? No, I don't think so. Because you've got all those, you've got all the injuries to the pitching staff. You're still, I mean, you're basically, I mean, you've got what, Lance McCullers. I think Framber Valdez is on the IL. Yeah, that Astros rotation is in rough shape right now. So getting Verlander back alone, I don't think is enough. I think some other things need to go right for the Astros to turn things around. And honestly, Carson, I hate to be that guy, but and I said this earlier, Justin Verlander isn't Justin Verlander. Isn't the same Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander's old. And I hate to be that guy, but you're not gonna get out of Justin Verlander what you used to get out of him.
No, I mean, you can't expect him to come in and be prime Justin Verlander or
Right.
even 2017 World Series Justin Verlander. That World Series was 7 years ago.
Yeah, dude's 41 years old. That's ancient in baseball years.
Right. And I mean, props to him for still being able to pitch at 41, by the way. By no means is this us trying to slander Justin Verlander.
No, not at all.
Not this. We are not trying to turn this into Verslander. This is Justin Verlander.
Very nicely done, Verslander. I like it. But no, you're not going to get Justin Verlander's not going to go out there every 5 days and mow, and throw fireballs, and blow batters away and mow guys down like he used to. He's just not. And for that reason, I don't think getting Verlander back alone, I don't think that alone is enough for the Astros to turn things around. So, well, Astros, you're getting to experience how the other half lives. Right now, unfortunately. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. Moving on, Julie R. Carson, what are the Pirates waiting for to call up Paul Skenes?
The second coming. I mean, I don't know. Because as a person, to use one of my co-hosts' favorite phrases, a person bearing a striking resemblance to myself, said that I was not ready to call the NL Central for the Pirates because we had seen this same story play out before our very eyes last season. And look what's happened. I think the biggest thing is, the Pirates, I feel like as an organization have always kind of been careful about calling their guys up. I think they've always been a little bit more cautious than the baseball world, I think, would like. And certainly at this point, when it comes to Paul, I still don't know if it's Skenes. I've heard just about every pronunciation at this point.
I've heard both.
Yeah, but when it comes to him, I think the Pirates are just they're trying to take their time with him, make sure he has enough time to properly develop. Because obviously in baseball, in baseball, AJ, I feel like as well as hockey, those are sports that you have a true minor league system, and
Hmm.
you cannot call up prospects just willy nilly. You have to make sure that they are ready. Now,
Yeah.
now he is playing out of his mind, and absolutely in the very near future are two sports where you have to do everything with your prospects at a calculated point because there's a calculated risk.
Carson, did we lose you? Oh,
Well, that was
Carson,
weird.
you got muted.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there.
Well, your audio was a little choppy there for a second, and I thought maybe we lost you, but
No, yeah,
um,
the browser said that I had disconnected from my mic, even though I did nothing of the sort.
oh,
Accusing me of it is accusing me of false things, and I am going to defend myself against you, StreamYard.
that's a little weird. I mean, we got most of what you're. Yeah, so
Long story short, they're probably just waiting for the right time. Everything with a prospect comes with a calculated risk and reward.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and good point about hockey and baseball being hockey and baseball prospects are different, ladies and gentlemen. Um, it's not like the NFL where a player gets drafted out of college and goes right to starting. So prospects in baseball and hockey, they get a little more time. They need a little more time to marinate, so to speak. Um, yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what the Pirates are waiting for. But at the same time, I'm not sure that I would, if I were them, I would call Paul Skenes up right now. I mean, he's only pitched in 4 games. Granted, 12.2 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, a ERA of 0.00, which is pretty good, and a WHIP of 0.71. But yeah, you can't rush it. So I honestly don't know what they're waiting for. I feel like uh, you know, probably soon if they continue to struggle. Although Carson, the Pirates pitching has not been the problem. Their offense has been the problem of late.
No, yeah, it's not. It hasn't so much been the pitching aside from the occasional implosion it seems of one Mister David Bednar in the
Yeah,
closing department,
yeah,
but who knows? I wouldn't imagine it'll be very far away now where we'll
yeah,
see him back up in the majors.
yeah. Probably not. But the Pirates need offensive help. They need bats, which I was actually just reading an article the other day that was talking about how the Pirates basically don't have any imminent prospects in terms of offense, which is not great news, obviously. All right, Felix B, who are your early AL and NL Cy Young favorites?
That is oh I might let you take this one first, AJ, because I gotta ponder this one for a little bit.
Um, yeah. Um, man, thanks for putting me on the spot. Let's see. AL Cy Young early. I mean, we're talking early. We're still early days in the season, everybody. So keep that in mind. Early AL Cy Young favorite. My Twins fan co-host is not gonna like this, but I gotta go with Tariq Skubal of the Tigers. I really, really like what I've seen out of him so far. Um, Yeah, I think I'd go Tariq Skubal in the AL, and my early, extremely early NL Cy Young favorite. I think. Oh man, this is tough because it is so early. Tariq Skubal, AL, NL. I think I've got to go with Zach Gallen.
Boy, you're sticking with your Diamondbacks through and through, huh?
Come on, man, Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's a beast.
No, yeah, he's been very good.
Although I think, well, I don't want to spoil yours, but I think a name that you have to float in the National League was a highly touted acquisition from Japan, but not the one you're thinking of, ladies and gentlemen. How about Shota Imanaga with a 0.00000 ERA through his first 3 MLB starts?
Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking in
Wow.
terms of
Oh,
the
sorry.
NL Cy Young.
My bad.
Darn it. But the AL one both brings warmth to my heart and also kind of makes me want to throw up a little bit in my mouth because he's not doing it for my Minnesota Twins anymore. I'm going with Jose Barrios up in
Nice.
up north of the border in Toronto.
Mm.
4-0 with a .85 ERA in his first 5 starts.
Damn.
You know, his whip is at a 1.01. I mean, he's been absolutely on fire as of late. I mean, heck, AJ, you're over there in Boston. I think Cutter Crawford is certainly making a case for himself.
Yep.
Whip below 1. He currently leads MLB in ERA right
ERA.
now.
Yeah.
I think he's also certainly making a case for himself, but I think right now for me it's got to be Jose.
Nice. Wow, 0.85 ERA. Damn. Again, folks, these are early, extremely early. I like Jose Barrios. Is it Barrios, I think.
Barrios.
Who obviously he doesn't get a lot of attention because he plays in Toronto. And I feel like everyone other than Blue Jays fans just forgets that the Blue Jays even exist sometimes, because they're the only team in Canada, myself included. Oh yeah, they have a baseball team in Toronto, don't they? I do it. I'm guilty of that too. So, no, I like it. And how about seriously, just to go back to Shota Imanaga real quick. I don't know about you, Carson, but I did not have I knew Shota Imanaga was going to be good, but I did not have on my baseball bingo card. I did not have Shota Imanaga having a better season to this point than Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Nor did I. He has been extremely impressive to start his MLB career, and hopefully that only continues.
Yeah, I mean, Cubs fans have got to be loving this dude. In contrast, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, sorry, not sorry, Dodgers fans. 5 games, 1-1 with a 4.5 ERA. 22 innings pitched and a whip of 1.136. Not terrible, but not as good as Shota Imanaga. I don't know, man. I think we had that as a mailbag question a while back about, or maybe it was a buy or sell, about if we thought Shota Imanaga was going to end up being the better signing. And again, early days, but so far, Shota Imanaga is a better signing than Yamamoto.
He laughs because he knows I'm over here in pain because of how excited I was for this signing for the Dodgers. Oh, yeah. He's been impressive.
The numbers don't lie, man.
I am not. I'm not trying to say that the numbers lie. I'm just saying, like you said, we are very early on. He's got plenty of time to turn it around. He'll be okay.
And how much did the Dodgers pay for Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
All right, so our next question comes from Gabby W.
No, I'm actually genuinely curious. Yamamoto's contract with the Dodgers, 12 years, $325 million. Although the Dodgers did some shady tax whatever and probably deferred 3/4 of that. Yeah. And then Shota Imanaga contract. 4 years, $53 million. I don't know how good your math is, ladies and gentlemen, but $53 million is a hell of a lot less than $325 million.
Well, and how old is Shota Imanaga?
I don't know actually. They're about the same age, aren't they? Let's see. Shota Imanaga is 30 and Yoshinobu Yamamoto is 25. Okay. So he's got a few years on him. But 4 years and $53 million is a hell of a lot better than 12 years and $325 million.
But that's still 4 years. That's 4 years where he'll be 34, and at the end of
and Yamamoto will be 37
be
at the end of his contract. Yeah. So even
you'll still get more longevity out of Yamamoto. That's all I'm saying.
They hope. Yeah, again, it's extremely early, but so far, and I don't think anybody had that on their baseball bingo card. That to this point, anyways, Shota Imanaga had better numbers than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So, considering all the hype Yamamoto got and all the hype Imanaga didn't. So, anyways, that's where we're at. Baseball, am I right? Gabby W, if you could watch one player from the past, who would it be?
This is hard. Because, I mean, the door is open to, I could watch Twins greats of the past. I could watch overall greats of the past. You know, this might be an out of the park answer, maybe, but give me Jackie Robinson.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think that's out of the park at all. No. I mean, player from the past. I mean, like you said, that just opens the door to so many possibilities, so many great players of the past. You said you went out of the park. I'm going to go with the most obvious answer ever. Man, I would give anything to be able to go back and watch Ted Williams.
Yeah, that would.
I would kill to go back and be able to go to Fenway back, when Ted Williams played and watch that dude swing the bat. The best pure hitter in the history of baseball. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, yeah, but oh man, there are so many, aren't there? Damn. No, I really like the Jackie Robinson pick. I mean, aside from being a great player and, obviously, all the history he made breaking the color barrier and, everything that goes to that. But yeah, there are so many. Damn. Yeah, I mean, Ted Williams, I would have loved to go back and see some of the great pitchers, Sandy Koufax, oh man, Bob Gibson. Wow. Yeah, we could fill a whole show with those, I think, Carson. Great question. All of these great questions. That one, spot on. All right, moving on. Nora J. The last one was tough, Carson. This one's even tougher. What's one historic game you wish you could have been at? Oof.
For me, in all honesty, this is a no doubter.
What?
1991
Oh,
World Series Game 6 for Kirby Puckett's walk-off homer to
walk-off
send
homer.
it to Game 7.
I had a sneaking suspicion you were gonna go with that one.
But I don't think you'd have a sneaking suspicion at all of what my runner-up would have been.
Okay. I'm the anticipation is killing me.
Babe Ruth calls this shot.
Oh hell yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was what that was the 20s, right? That was the World Series, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
I mean, everyone knows the, the moment. Oh man.
Yeah, fifth inning of Game 3 of the 1932 World Series.
32 World Series. Oh, okay. All right. Oh man. Yeah, this is really tough for me. Because there are so many. I like that you went Twins. I was just thinking about the Red Sox. I mean, there are so many. But see, I've been sorry, Twins fans, but I've been lucky enough that a lot of the greatest games in Red Sox history have happened in my lifetime, and I've gotten to be at some of them. So it's a little different. Oh man. I think, oh man. Let's see. What year was? Okay, I've got. Nah, this might be a little obvious, but this one I think is a little outside the box. A little out of left field, if you will. I would go to Game 5 of the 1995 ALDS. The Yankees, the Mariners, at the Kingdom in Seattle. Uh, yeah, I would go Game 5 of the 95 ALDS. The Yankees and the Mariners. Edgar Martinez, with the walk-off, scoring Cora and Griffey, sending the Mariners to the ALCS for the first time, and quite possibly the game that saved baseball in Seattle, Carson. Because before that, believe it or not, there was talk of the Mariners relocating to Tampa, and the '95 season. And them getting to the ALCS, even though they lost to the Cleveland Indians, the then Cleveland Indians in the '95 ALCS, pretty much saved baseball in Seattle and led directly almost to the building of what was Safeco Field and now T-Mobile Park.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
I actually remember, aging myself a little bit. I actually remember watching this game on TV. And this might have been I mean, 95. That was what? Yeah, it was 10-ish. And 95, my Red Sox were not very good in 95. This might have been my like sort of fall in love with baseball start, and start actually actively really following baseball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this might have been the one. Seriously, you can watch that game in its entirety, folks, on YouTube. Trust me, I know, I've done it. But yeah, I think that might be it. So, another historic game I think I would have liked to be at, though, Carson. I would have liked to have been at any of the games, the first games that were played after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I might even go as far as to say I would have wanted to be at Yankee Stadium that first game after 9/11, as tough as that would have been. But yeah. Oof, great question. Love these. Great question. And then we get even harder. Marcus B, if you had a golden ticket to any MLB stadium, which one would you go to?
So what?
I think where Marcus is going is you have a golden ticket, you can go to any stadium on any given day. I think that's where we're going with this.
Okay. Well, I mean, with that being said, I've had the pleasure. I've been very fortunate to have had some experiences at a few different MLB stadiums. Gotten to go to Dodger Stadium, Wrigley Field, Yankee Stadium. But
Jealous.
my Red Sox loving co-host is gonna love this. If I had a golden ticket, there's no doubt in my. See you later, Minnesota. I'm heading over to the East Coast. I'm paying my respects to the great Fenway Park.
Damn straight. You're just trying to butter me up. Yeah, and I mean Fenway. I mean,
it's iconic.
It is. As a Red Sox fan, yes, I know I'm biased, but Fenway is iconic. It's right up there. It's in the same right up there with Wrigley Field, and Kauffman Stadium, and Dodger Stadium, as some of the more some of the iconic, MLB stadiums. Yeah, I'm insanely jealous. My co-host has been to Dodger Stadium. I have not had that opportunity yet.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I know it's on the list. I mean, I've obviously been to Fenway. Golden ticket. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to go Dodger Stadium, but I think I'll go a little further north in California, Carson, and I'll use my golden ticket to go to Oracle Park in San Francisco.
Ooh, okay.
I gotta be honest, out of the ballparks that I've yet to been to, Oracle Park is right there near the top of my list. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
Situated right there on San Francisco Bay. The brick facade and the the splash, what do they call it? Splash landing or whatever it's called. Yeah, I think I'd go Oracle Park.
Yeah, I think if I had my golden ticket for Oracle Park, I'd be out in one of the canoes or whatever.
Oh yeah, out there in the water. Yeah, trying to catch people out there with the fishing nets, trying to catch home run balls. Yeah, I mean, it's just seriously, I'm insanely jealous of Giants fans. I mean, I love Fenway, obviously, but I'm insanely jealous of Giants fans, for having that ballpark situated there. I mean, San Francisco is just a beautiful place anyways, but having that ballpark where it is, yeah, I think it's safe to say they definitely knew what they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they built Oracle Park there. So, yeah, that's definitely on my list. Yeah, I mean, obviously Dodger Stadium. Yeah, there's just, man, golden ticket. That's tough. You guys are asking us the tough questions. And speaking of which, Keith V, who was your first favorite baseball player. Oof, brutal.
Not brutal at all. 2 words, one of the greatest pitchers to ever put on the Minnesota Twins uniform,
Uh,
Johan Santana.
yeah, I mean, one of the greatest pitchers ever, as far as I'm concerned. Man, I am sitting looking at these questions like, oh man, that's a tough question. And Carson over here is just like, yep, no brainer. It's making me look bad. Oh man, first favorite. Actually, this one is actually pretty easy for me. First favorite baseball player. I kind of hinted at it earlier when I was talking about Game 5 of the '95 ALDS. You say 2 words. I will see your 2 words and raise you 3 words. Ken Griffey Jr.
I kind of thought it might be Griffey.
Yep. Ken Griffey Jr. was my first favorite baseball player. Mostly because at the time when I first really started watching baseball and paying attention to baseball and following baseball, my Red Sox were terrible and they didn't have a lot of good players. But lucky for me, it was during the golden era of Ken Griffey Jr., who to this day I will defend as having the purest, sweetest swing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That dude could swing the bat like nobody before and nobody I've seen since. One of the best pure hitters and oh, by the way, one of the best one of the best outfielders, one of the best defensive players of all time too. Kenny Griffey Jr. was my first favorite baseball player. I had his jersey. I had, pictures and posters and baseball cards. So yeah, Griffey Jr. Maybe that one wasn't as hard as that tough after all. All right, moving on. Brandon L, what's your favorite baseball slang? Ooh, we got a 2-parter. What's your favorite baseball slang and your favorite baseball stat?
I think slang probably, as my illustrious co-host used it a little bit earlier. I love it when people say that a pitcher is mowing down batters. I don't know why. I think that's awesome.
That's a great one.
Favorite stat. Well, here comes the question. Do I go with just like here's my favorite stat in the slash line answer, or do I go with my nerdy answer?
I say go nerdy.
Because if I'm going nerdy, I'm going with I think one of the most underrated stats in baseball, which is OPS. I love the OPS stat because it tells you not only who's hitting the ball really well, but who's also able to get on base and make it around said bases. It's not just a stat about base running or hitting or your batter's eye. It's a stat about that combines all three elements that are crucial to any major league batter.
You think OPS is overrated, or wait, did you say overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
You think OPS is underrated?
I think by the general baseball community a little bit.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. I guess by us,
it's
baseball,
not really a casual stat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is a good point. I think OPS is more paid attention to and appreciated by baseball geeks like us. Yeah, I like it. OPS, yeah. Yeah, mowing batters down. That's great baseball slang. Favorite baseball slang? I've always been I'm gonna go. I might be going a little out there. Carson, I've always been a big fan, and I don't hear this used. Um, I don't, I don't even remember the last time I heard somebody use this. Uh, I've always been a fan of ducks on the pond.
Ducks on the pond is a great one.
For those of you who don't know, ducks on the pond is another way of saying the bases loaded. The bases are loaded. Like I said, I don't even remember the last time I heard someone use it. But I've always been a fan of ducks on the pond. And there is some just baseball has. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Baseball has the best slang in all of sports. I'm actually looking at MLB.com's glossary of baseball slang right now. Yacker for a curveball. That's another one I haven't heard in a long time. A worm burner for a ground ball. Uncle Charlie for a curveball. Yeah, some of these are just great. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna go with ducks on the pond with an honorable mention. With an honorable mention to golden sombrero.
That's a good one too.
That one I actually do hear from time to time on when watching games. Announcers every so often will bust out the golden sombrero, which again, for those of you who don't know, a golden sombrero is when a player strikes out 4 times in the same game. So golden sombrero sounds really cool, but it's something you don't want to do as a player. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with that for baseball slang. Favorite stat. Oh man. All right. So Carson went with the nerdy answer. He went with OPS, which is a great stat. I mean, I guess I'll go with the anti-nerdy answer. God, there's so many now. Which I love as a baseball geek and as a stat geek. Well, I don't know. This might be a bit stat geeky, but I'll go with the defensive side of the ball. I've always been a big fan of fielding percentage.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I mean, fielding percentage, if you think about it, is basically the defensive equivalent of, I think, fielding percentage is the defensive equivalent of batting average or on base percentage, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know how good a player is, at flashes in the leather, just look at their fielding percentage. Well, their fielding percentage and their errors, maybe, and maybe their putouts, but yeah, a big fan of the fielding percentage as a pitching and defense aficionado. All right, second to last one. Penny K, who's one player you wish would have played on your favorite team?
Once again, this might be almost too easy, maybe, because there's there's a lot of great players, but when I think about players that, on the Twins, if I had the chance to have them on the Twins, there is one person, especially when I think about like prime Joe Mauer years, that
David
I would
Ortiz. Oh wait.
Don't you start. Don't you start over there. But if there's one person that I think, especially during Joe Mauer's MVP year, that if he was a member of the Minnesota Twins, we would have won a World Series. You're probably gonna hate this answer. Give me the captain. Give me Derek Jeter.
Oh God.
Can you imagine Derek Jeter and Joe Mauer on the same team in their primes? Ah,
Yeah, that would have been pretty spectacular, actually.
my God.
You know, if Derek Jeter had somehow wound up on the Twins, I probably wouldn't have loathed him as much as I did. I probably wouldn't have hated Derek Jeter so much if he didn't play on. I mean, most of the reason I loathed Derek Jeter, is because he played for the Yankees. Maybe if he played on another team, I wouldn't have, probably wouldn't have cared about him one way or the other. Derek Jeter on the Twins, wow, that is some alternate universe type stuff right there. Favorite player you wish would have played on your favorite team? Who would I have wanted on the Red Sox? Damn. One name does come to mind who I remember every so often would crop up in trade rumors with the Red Sox. And I'm going way, I think this one, well, maybe not. I keep saying it, but I think this one's going way out of left field. This player, his name would pop up every so often in Red Sox trade rumors. Sadly, it never happened. You know what though? Oh man. Hang on. I've gotta look something up real quick. Little real-time research here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. God, you guys, one player, really? One player I would have loved to have seen on the Red Sox. Ladies and gentlemen, now pitching for your Boston Red Sox, Randy Johnson. Imagine for a moment, if you will, ladies and gentlemen.
The big unit and Big Poppy.
Yeah. Yeah, for starters. Imagine, if you will, for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, a 2004 Red Sox pitching rotation comprised of Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling, and Randy Johnson.
Good luck, everybody else.
I mean, that 2004 rotation with just Schilling and Pedro was nasty enough. And Keith Folk at the back end as the closer. Pedro, Schilling, and big unit Randy Johnson, combined with the offense, with the lineup and the defense that 2004 team had, Carson, I would venture that team would have broken Seattle's win record.
I would agree with that.
That team would have won they would have won 120 games without breaking a sweat. Randy Johnson would have been, Randy Johnson on the Red Sox. Again, there are just so many. I mean, obviously Ken Griffey Jr. Randy Johnson specifically on the 2004 Red Sox. Whew. Yeah, that would have been something. All right. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, and I think we saved the best for last, not to disrespect any of the other messages we've read. But I think we've saved the best for last because it comes from our good friend and friend of the show, Jackie Mack from the great city of Boston, who wants to know, how did you guys end up being such big baseball geeks?
I mean, I think a lot of it for me just started with playing youth baseball as a kid. I played baseball from the time I was in, for basically all of my elementary school career. then realizing that the Lord had not blessed me with a very athletic body and that it was probably hang up the cleats. But I mean, in that experience, it wasn't just about playing the game, but you know, it was those moments where as a kid sitting with my dad, and this is how I got, you know, some of my love for you know, where a lot of my love for Derek Jeter comes from, is that he would be one of the guys that we'd watch games on TV, and he's one of the guys that my dad would point out as we're kind of watching. Whew, I don't even know why this is getting me a little choked up. It's like my dad's still here, but and anywho,
I get it.
fight through it, Carson. Here we go. But he was one of those guys where my dad would say, you know, look at what Derek Jeter does. See how he hits, you know, see how he keeps his eye on the ball, squarely hits the ball, watch his stance. Like a lot of my game as a kid, I tried to model everything I could after Derek Jeter. I wore the number 2 in Little League as much as I could because of Derek Jeter. So I think a lot of it just comes from playing as a kid and getting to watch, you know, not only obviously Derek Jeter, who was one of my baseball idols and still one of my favorite players of all time, but watching like the Johan Santanas. You know, again, my first true baseball player, watching the Johan Santanas and thinking, well, maybe I could be a pitcher who hits. Watching some of those Twins teams as a kid with my dad was just, and I think a lot of it just came from playing the game, finding the love for the game, and getting to watch, in my opinion, one of the best eras of baseball in the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely. When did you first start? Like I was talking about earlier, like when I first started really watching because I mean I watched baseball with, you know, I mean my family is a huge baseball family. My my family had season tickets to the Red Sox for years and years and years and years. But so I mean but when did you first start really watching baseball and like really following it? And you know, I know we sort of grew up in different areas. Mine was this, you know, grabbing the sports section of the Boston Globe every day and flipping to the, you know, the box scores. Yours was, you know, probably the internet. But when did you first start really following baseball?
I want to say it was, you know, like I had, like you had said, I had watched you know, I was watching the Twins games still pretty regularly as a kid. But I guess I didn't really start. I'm gonna label this as, when did I basically start paying attention to baseball outside of the Twins?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going.
But I think it really kind of started actually kind of um, after my very very infamous, I should say, Little League career. So probably sometime around, oh gosh, what year would that have been? Probably sometime around 2011,
Oh my god.
2012.
Stop. Okay. Um yeah, I think mine again. Yeah, you know, the time difference thing, I guess, but yeah. Um yeah, I think my baseball geekdom really started, it started with that 95 Mariners team. I mean, I have you know, like I've mentioned before, I have family in Seattle. I have a connection to see it, the Seattle and the Seattle area. In that, you know, that part of the world, which is why I've always been you know, the Mariners have always sort of been my other team. Yeah, I think mine's, again, I started going to Red Sox games probably when I was like 5 or 6, but I really don't remember. I sort of remember, I remember going, but I don't really remember, really start to remember until, I was probably like 9 or 10. And following that 95 Mariners team and Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez and all the great players they had on that team, especially Ken Griffey Jr. Because, like I said before, Ken Griffey Jr. was my first favorite baseball player because the Red Sox were just bad back then. Yeah, I think mine started with that 95 season and the Mariners. And then I just started, like I said, I would, we got the Boston Globe delivered every day, and I would grab it and tear it open and throw the rest of it aside because I didn't care about anything but the sports page, the sports section. And I would flip to the the box scores and the Major League Baseball box scores and look at players' batting averages. And I mean, those were the days when it was basically batting average and that was it as far as offensive stats go. And I think it just kind of snowballed from there. And it didn't hurt being part of such of a family that was so big into baseball. My family had Red Sox season tickets for years and years and years. I mean, dating back to the 60s. So I got to go to no there was no shortage of going to Red Sox games growing up. And I think it just kind of snowballed from there. And I don't know, man, like I just love baseball. Like I've loved baseball for as long as I can remember, and there's just something I think you'd probably agree with me. Baseball is so unique and stands out from all the other sports. I mean, the other sports are great, football and hockey and basketball. But baseball is so uniquely American. And has it and its roots. I mean, I guess football does too, and basketball to a degree, but baseball has very deep roots and a very rich history, and its roots are firmly rooted in America, in the greatest damn country in the world. And there's something kind of oddly romantic about baseball, I think.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, makes total sense.
There's just something about, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's just something sort of romantic about baseball. And it's just, baseball is just awesome. Baseball is the greatest sport in the world, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
Fair enough.
There's a reason that this is a baseball podcast, and not any of the other sports. So, yeah, baseball's awesome. I love it. So yeah, I guess that's where we're at. All right, you guys, you absolutely crushed it. With these questions for this mailbag special. So give yourself a round of applause. As always, we will most definitely be doing another one of these. We will do more than one this season. The last couple of years, we've only done one of these a season. We'll do another one this year, at some point down the road. So stay tuned with that. Keep sending your messages. Wait, sorry, I lost my thing here. No, not that one. Yeah, keep sending us your messages, your questions, your feedback, your ideas, everything. Drop us a line. 8thinningpod.com/mailbag or 8thinningstretch@gmail.com. And we just might read your message on an upcoming episode. And if you've written to us and we haven't read your message, we haven't read your message on basically the point I'm trying to make is just because we haven't read your message during the mailbag on the air doesn't mean we don't read it. We do. We read well, I say we read every single email. It's honestly it's mostly producer Tasha that sifts through the emails. Some of them get insta deleted. And if your message got insta deleted, you know exactly why. But yeah, we do read all your messages, and Carson, we've talked about it before. Um, the show is the way it is, mostly because of stuff that our fans have written into us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just the very DNA of the show. Um, the poll question, the mailbag itself was an idea that you guys had. Buy or sell, the must watch games. I mean, pretty much all of it. So keep it up. And the book of baseball. Yeah, I mean, the book of baseball was something. The baseball documentary thing was something I've wanted to do for a very long time. But it was you guys who were like, yeah, do it. So yeah, so keep it up. No buy or sell this time out. Because we've spent this whole thing on the mailbag. No mailbag because the whole episode has been a mailbag. Real quick, some must watch games. There are a few good series coming up this week. So starting on Monday, we've got the Phillies in Cincinnati to take on the Reds, which I think is going to be so much fun. The Phillies are both of these teams are just really fun teams to watch. The Phillies for obvious reasons, and Cincinnati Ellie De La Cruz alone is worth the price of admission for the Reds. Also starting on Monday, we've got the Blue Jays in Kansas City to take on the Royals. That, my friends, I feel has the potential to be a playoff preview. Again, two really fun teams to watch there. Starting Thursday, my Seattle Mariners visit the Texas Rangers in a just a huge, crucial early season AOS series. That's going to be a lot of fun. The Mariners taking on the defending World Series champs. And then last but definitely not least, starting on Friday, the Chicago Cubs are in Boston to take on my Red Sox for a weekend series. Carson, in a series that I desperately wish I could go to Boston and watch in person.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of hit all the ones that I was looking to hit. For time reasons, no tankathon again this week. But hoping that next week things will have shaken up enough to where we'll have a tankathon, but just for time constraints, as well as there's not really a whole lot of tankathons going on right now. No tankathon this week.
No, not yeah. There really haven't been yet. I think it's still too early for the tankathon. All right, sort of quick-ish. One last thing, or one last things, I guess. Obviously we've talked extensively about the whole Oakland situation, and everything that's gone on there with the relocation, the move to Sacramento, and everything. And then this past week the news broke, and I'm pretty sure it's a done deal, that the Arizona Coyotes have been sold and are moving to Salt Lake City. And having one major sports franchise, the Oakland A's, having one of the four major leagues, of the four major sports leagues fail their fans, like MLB did with Oakland, and then that's bad enough, and then to have it happen again in Arizona, have the NHL just completely fail the fans in Arizona, is just it's just sucks. It sucks for the teams. But it sucks most for the fans. And Carson, I really, really, really hope that this is not the beginning of a trend.
Yeah, same here. I talked about it a little bit in my one last thing when it was still kind of reported, but we weren't totally sure that it was
Yeah,
official yet, but
it's a done deal.
yeah, it's a done deal now. The NHL failed Arizona. Alex Morello also has his fair share of blame in this as well.
Yep.
Couldn't figure out a plan that to keep the Coyotes and in kind of turned about face and campaigned when he took over the team that he was for the people and the
Mhm.
people's owner and blah blah blah, wanted to keep hockey in
Yeah.
Arizona, and then sells it, and now though has 5 years to build an arena, and if within those 5 years he can do that, Arizona hockey will be back. So I'm hoping he's a man of his word. I'm hoping he's able to do that. But yeah, just got a chance to watch a little bit of that last game at Mullet Arena. Very emotional, as expected. The kind of big group picture of all the players and
Mm,
the hockey operations and everything. Seeing the fans in the arena starting to cry kind of got me
mm,
tearing up a little bit, because uh, while I wasn't here, while I wasn't even really a thought, when the North Stars moved down to
oh,
Dallas.
to Dallas, yeah.
um, my parents have told me all about that saga, and I've seen all the reports and everything, and it's never fun to see a fan base
Mm-mm.
have a franchise that they care so deeply for, and that in the case of both the Coyotes and the Athletics, they have supported through hell and back,
Mm-hmm.
um, get ripped away from them.
Yep. So Oakland fans and Arizona fans are able to commiserate. I do actually. I remember very well when the North Stars left Minnesota, and moved to Dallas. But lucky for you and your fellow Minnesotans, you guys got another team.
Yeah, we did, and I'm hoping that someday Arizona will get another team too, and my hope isn't lost yet that Oakland will see a baseball team again, because they deserve some kind of team.
Yes, they do. Yep. Here's hoping. Yeah, so that just kind of sucks all around. So hopefully, like I said, that's not the beginning of a trend. Um, and I think we would be remiss with the news of the Coyotes moving to Arizona, to not throw out some Utah NHL name ideas. I've seen some really dumb ones. I've seen the Utah Blizzard. Does that sound very extremely close to Avalanche to anyone else? I've seen Yetis. Because I think Salt Lake's NHL team should go, because Utah and the whole bees thing. I think they should go with something, you know, Salt Lake Swarm, Salt Lake Sting. That's where my vote kind of goes.
Yeah, I had kind of thought, just with like knowing that there's all of kind of the salt mines and stuff there, I thought maybe like a
Oh,
miners would be
oh, I
cool.
like it.
Um,
Oh,
but
damn,
but
I didn't
then
even think of that.
in a very in a joke that one of my coworkers made at work, a miners versus predators matchup would kind of be,
Oh, that's a bit problematic, isn't it?
it's a little bit problematic. Not that type of miner though. Obviously, I'm
Right.
talking about salt mines, but still a little.
Yeah. But people would take it there,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because people are twisted. And the Predators really got to do something about that name. Um, yeah, I like it. I think something mining themed. I am not sure what, but Salt Lake Swarm just kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Utah NHL people, there you go. You can have that idea for free. I won't even charge you for it. And last but certainly not least, we would also be remiss, now that we are, man, this is one of the best times of the year to be a sports fan. We've got baseball in full swing, pun intended. And we've got the Stanley Cup playoffs, which are the best postseason in all of sports, and the NBA playoffs officially underway. Carson, we would be remiss if we did not make our Stanley Cup and NBA championship picks.
Yeah, we've got some very good matchups in both sports here,
Yep.
which is something that usually doesn't happen too often. But and got a lot of very enticing Stanley Cup matchups and all of that fun, good stuff. So, um, I guess I'll start with the NHL and kind of move to the NBA. Which, speaking of the NBA, though, shout out to my Timberwolves for winning Game 1 against the Phoenix Suns yesterday in
Yay.
convincing fashion.
Yep.
Um, get out of here with this Kevin Durant bull crap. But so NHL, um, in terms of in the Eastern Conference, I do have the Boston Bruins repping the East in the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup Final. Um, over in the West, I have the defending champion Vegas Golden
Ugh.
Knights. As much as I hate saying that, and it makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Um, but my Bruins loving co-host will be happy. I see this going to a game 7, but in game 7, I'll even go as far to say Charlie Coyle seals the deal
Nice.
for the Boston Bruins to be your 2024 NHL Stanley Cup champions.
Hell
Over on,
yes.
by the way, shout out Charlie Coyle. Love Charlie
Damn
Coyle.
right.
Over on the NBA side of things, in the East, or in the West, I should say, as much as I would love to say, you know what, screw it, I will say my Minnesota Timberwolves representing the Western
Right.
Conference, in a matchup going up against, I'm gonna say probably the Boston Celtics. Um,
Ooh. I smell a
um,
bet.
a little little matchup of our
I
two
smell
teams.
the I
Boy,
smell
would
the
I
straight
love for this to come true. But sorry, AJ, the homer in me says Wolves in 6.
T-Wolves, yeah. If the D-Wolves and the Celtics get to the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen, I smell a friendly wager between us. Yeah, no, Stanley Cup, NHL. Well, as far as the Salt Lake City team name, take heart. They can't do any worse than Vegas Golden Knights. Still the dumbest name in all of pro sports. Stanley Cup, yeah, Western Conference. I have the Dallas Stars coming out of the West. I really like what I've seen from Dallas. They are a extremely dangerous team, and I think they get out of the West. Yes, I've got my Bruins coming out of the East after dismantling the Leafs, getting revenge over the Panthers, and then proving once and for all that hockey doesn't belong in North Carolina, because Hurricanes fans don't know the difference between a clothesline and a blue line. And getting to the finals to face the Stars. And yeah, I don't care. It's a homer pick. I'm taking the Bruins to win it all. Carson, you said Charlie Coyle. I will go. I think Charlie McAvoy, Chucky Bright Lights, seals the deal and gets the cup winning goal.
Yeah.
Love me some Charlie McAvoy. And then sadly, that means that will be the end of the Jeremy Swayman, Linus Allmark era in Boston, because after this year, they won't be able to afford to keep both. So we'll get one last goalie hug. And then over the NBA, coming out of the West, no, are you kidding me? No, coming out of the West, I've got your T-Wolves. I think the T-Wolves are just the most complete team in the Western Conference, in a stacked Western Conference. Little bit of bonus, I have them beating the Nuggets, and then beating the Thunder to get to the finals. And come on, folks, like, who are we kidding? Only the Boston Celtics can come out of the Eastern Conference. They are far and away the best team in the East, and as long as they don't, pull the Celtics, I don't see anyone getting in their way to get to the finals. And in a shocking turn, Carson, I have your Minnesota Timberwolves beating my Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
will say, oh,
sorry, Boston.
I would genuinely be the happiest. Like, I might come onto the show the Sunday after the Wolves win an NBA title crying.
um, as you should. I mean, that would be a obvious. I mean, that would be a huge deal. That would be big for Minnesota. Um, it's been a minute since you guys had a championship up there. So, no, I sorry, Boston. I know. I have a lot of faith in the Celtics. I don't have that much faith in them. But although as an alternate, I wouldn't mind a Nuggets Celtics finals for a chance for the Celtics to make this Nuggets and Mike Malone eat their words. And Nuggets fans eat their words for talking smack about Boston. So anyways, all right. Yeah, that's all we got for you guys now that we've run extremely long, but you know what? It was worth it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to catch us live every Sunday on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and also anytime on demand wherever you get your podcasts at linktree/8inningstretch. Follow us at 8th Inning Pod on Twitter, and for more, including our newsletter/blog, Two Strike Count, which you can get delivered right to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, Friday by subscribing. Seriously, if you haven't subscribed to Two Strike Count yet, I don't know what y'all are waiting for. Get on it. Head to 8thinningpod.com and help us support the show either by using the QR code on your screen or at 8thinningpod.com/donate. Remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. That's all we got for you. Everybody have an awesome week. Have fun watching some baseball. Have fun watching some Stanley Cup, some NBA. And as always, remember to take care of yourselves and just take care of each other.